what made me realize that is that what it was fear, guys. It was that fear that I'll wait to see if somebody else does it, or man, ain't nobody gonna listen, or what if I do it, man? Well, why not try it? And just not doing it. And I'm like, dude, that what if? Yup, that what if deep man. And trust me, I embrace my demons and comfort them when I need them. But at the same time, this one I needed to say, nigga, shut the fuck up and let me do it. Right?
Yeah.
I really did. And I didn't do that. But at the same time, I just did it. Right here on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thing. Get out there and do the shit.
What's up, y'all? Harkos here with the Music Making Sense podcast. And with me, as always, is the one, the only, KP. Well, almost always, because if you guys checked out last week's episode, that was just me solo. But back at it again. Back at it again is KP with us here, as always. How the fuck is it going, KP?
I'm good, dude. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. And just like I said in the last episode, KP had some other things he had to take care of, and then there were scheduling conflicts between me and him to get it recorded at a different time and day and stuff like that. So I just went ahead and shot something, went over that article about DistroKid buying out Bandcamp and Songtradr buying Bandzoogle, which is actually like I talked about in the last episode, KP. Mm-hmm. Bandzoogle was one you had talked about. You recommend artists use to build like a website, because when I was talking about I love Wix and you're like, oh, Bandzoogle is awesome and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think it's interesting, but it kind of goes back to, like I said in the last episode, it kind of goes back to my conspiracy theory of the major labels buying up all of these companies and owning all of these companies in order to control the new level of music. And like it actually says in that headline, because they want to control super fans. They want to tap into the super fan market, the direct to consumer super fan market.
Oh, since the episode you just put up today, I have I just looked on it. Okay, with the mask, that is cool.
Cool graphic.
Cool graphic. Yeah, cool. Head or what the hell do they call it? Oh my god, thumbnail. Yeah, good, cool thumbnail. There you go.
Yeah. It's just basically a bank robber in a suit, which is a bank robber in a suit with a gun taking your money, which is basically the major labels. You know, they wear a suit and they got that fucking legal gun and they grab your fucking money in sacks.
That shit.
I saw that one. I was like, yep, that one.
Dude, I was looking like I was kind of looking us because I was like, wait a minute. But then I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I saw it because I was like, we're about to get ready. So, but no, just that thumbnail is so dope.
Yeah. I would have posted it earlier today. It's just when I was editing the video, I was finishing it up last night, and I fell asleep in the chair right here, just like this. I was like. And I fell asleep in the fucking chair.
Wow.
And I woke up and it was like 1:30 and my whole body hurt. Because like my hips fucking hurt, my fucking back hurt and shit. I was like, oh, so I had to get up.
Sitting in that chair, sleeping like that. Yeah. Dude.
No, I've done it multiple times before, but it's been a few years since I've done it. And so then whenever I went and laid down, and then I slept in a little bit and everything like that. And then whenever I got up, I got up a little bit late and stuff, but I finally got it edited, and then took a little bit for it to upload. But yeah, that's a pretty good episode and stuff like that. But yeah, we got another great episode as always.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to say this right now. If you are listening only and you want to watch, or if you're watching and you want to listen only, we're available on all platforms, video and audio. All links are right here at musicmakingsensepod.com, or search on your favorite podcasting channel or wherever you want to listen to it, anything like that. So
absolutely,
I just want to get that out of the way in case somebody was like, man, I don't really want to watch. I don't have time to watch right now. We'll go ahead and listen, listen wherever you want to listen at. So
I sometimes take, just as a podcaster, there are times I take a lot of joy out of just listening to sometimes. And sometimes, even
I always listen. I never watch a podcast.
Oh, really?
Ever? No, never, because I'm always doing something else.
Yeah, you're always right.
You know, like I was telling you about how last week, whenever I was first listening to that article, whenever I
Mhm.
saw the article, I was like, I want to read this, but like I gotta cook my food real quick and I gotta do something else. And so I just told my Google Assistant, I was like, hey, read this shit to me. And it
Right.
read it to me, and then I was able to sit there and cook or do whatever for 7 minutes, you know. So I think I got my laundry out and I cooked and stuff like that. But I'm always doing something else. And most of the time, whenever I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening because I'm at work or I'm working on my car or I'm doing something outside in the garden or whatever the fuck
Right.
I'm doing, it I'm listening to podcasts and stuff like that then. And so that's whenever I do it.
It's understandable.
The only time I'm really not doing like listening to any podcast is whenever I'm editing video, obviously, because I gotta focus.
Right.
Or if I'm creating music, or when I'm out in nature on my morning walks, then I have my phone with me just for emergencies, but like I keep it in my backpack and I just
Yeah.
disconnect,
Yeah,
and
when
yeah.
I do my walks too, I'm like that, bro.
Mm,
Because I'm doing my weighted walks.
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't I put my phone in my backpack and
Mm.
just and my headphones on and turn on extreme metal workout
Ah,
playlist from Spotify, dude, and I gets to
yeah.
trucking. You know what I'm
Well, shit,
saying? And it's fun.
I don't even listen to music when I'm on my walk. I just like silence in nature and just the sounds of nature only when I'm out, because I'm out in the woods and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so like at
Does it help you
first
come up with lyrics and shit when you're out there like that?
it helps me come up with all kinds of shit because I'll just be sitting there.
Mhm.
It's like a walking meditation. So with meditation, for those of y'all who are not familiar, with meditation, the goal of it is to let your mind just go and empty,
And empty,
and
yeah.
then you find like a natural flow state. And
Mhm.
so whenever I'm out there or whatever, at first when I start walking, it's like kind of noisy, right?
Yeah.
And then as I get out there, I start getting going and stuff like that. And I just let everything go. Like whatever pops into my head, I let it process and go and go. And I don't control it. I just let it freely go.
Right.
And then I get to the space, and then all of a sudden I'm like thinking about this, I'm thinking about that or whatever. And then I'm processing things, and yeah, sometimes I come up with lyrics, sometimes I come up with other things. And but it sometimes I just come up with marketing ideas. I come up with all the kinds of different things.
Yeah.
And that's when I started my little vlog thing that I haven't done in a little bit because we started this podcast, but I was doing at the beginning of the year on my personal artist channel.
Mhm.
Once a week, I would just turn on the camera and just sit there and just talk all the stuff that was popping in my head, whatever it was.
Right.
I would just go. And that's just something that I do like every day inside my head whenever I'm out there. But at first when I was doing it, I wasn't bringing my phone because I wanted to completely disconnect. But
Right.
then I'm walking like 3 miles into the woods, like deep into the woods, kind of. If I get injured or something like that, I might need to call for help and nobody's gonna hear me yelling. So I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'll bring my phone with me.
Yeah.
I'll fucking power it off and throw it in the fucking backpack or whatever, just in case I need it, then I got it. But just because like that signal, if I can keep one transmitter off of, putting signal around and stuff, it helps because you know radio waves, microwaves, all different kinds of sound waves, they affect your body,
Yeah. They
and
do.
this
They
yeah
really do.
and this is not medical advice, but
Right.
they do affect your body, and when I really started realizing that is whenever I first started messing around with actual meditation. I would play binaural beats,
Mhm.
right? And so it I'd have it on my surround sound speakers in my living room, and I would sit on the floor in front of it. And I'd turn it on, and I could feel it's like whoa, whoa, and everything, and you could feel it through your fucking body.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so then all these waves are penetrating your body as well too, and then they can affect you in different ways and stuff. So, but I mean, that just plays into exactly how you feel music, you
Mhm.
know when you get that full body immersion of music when it's playing on speakers or playing like in the physical, like right in front of you, because you feel those sound waves, and then that's what really it vibrates with you on a certain level.
Puts me in a trance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why certain tempos and certain styles of music vibe with certain people, because
Mhm.
like some people, when a country song pops on, like and like if somebody starts playing on, like a band starts playing country, they're like, wow, they get all jacked up. And then
Yep.
some people like me are like, okay, whatever, you know,
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
but you know,
Totally.
like, you know, but like it's everybody's got their own vibrations that they resonate with. And that's the beauty of music, is that, you know, even if you got headphones on, headphones kind of get it in there a little bit, but speakers help a lot,
Yeah.
or just in the physical. And that's when you really, really feel it, you know. So that's
Mhm.
why when what was that on White Man Can't Jump, the
Mhm.
first movie, whenever
Yeah.
he was
You
like,
don't hear Jimmy.
exactly. He's like, yeah, you don't hear Jimmy. Yeah. He's like, no, no, I hear Jimmy. He's like, no, you got to feel Jimmy. Yeah. And
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Gotta hear him.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
But yeah, speaking of music ways and stuff, you were talking to me briefly about, you know, you were over at work
Yeah.
yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
doing your part-time stuff over at Men's Warehouse. And
Mm-hmm.
and you're telling me that some dude was like looking all classy and his phone kept going off with
No,
Down with
no,
the
he wasn't
Sickness
looking
ringtone.
classy. He was no,
Oh.
he wasn't looking classy. He was looking. He was doing to get. He was getting a tuxedo fitting,
Oh, well, he's trying
and
to look classy. Yeah.
well, yeah, he was getting ready to look classy. So he was
Right.
getting
But
ready
he had
for
the,
his daughter's wedding. But he was a
yeah.
rocker dude. He was a straight up rocker dude. And so he ended up, let's get this, guys. His phone's ringtone. Yes, my man still has a ringtone, which was dope. I don't care. Right. But it played Down with the Sickness from Disturbed. And and as I'm working with him, I'm digging it, right? Of course, because it was just
Right.
funny.
Yeah.
At the same, it's funny as hell, but I'm digging it. So anyway, I get home. Make a long story short, y'all. So I'm home today, and I'm like sitting here and just having a smoke. And what came through my head was just this dope ass remix that I started coming up with, and I showed Harkos it, and it was like I just came up with this, like, just that. Oh, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. I can see that the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel when you give it to me. Even like I start thinking to do it like right?
Right.
And so and it was just like, dude, I was like, and I just showed Harkos, and Hart gave me the sauce. So go ahead and give him the sauce.
Yeah,
that's like that's
like a beatbox acapella and shit, you know. It's pretty dope. But what I was suggesting to you is like you have to either just do a raw one take video of doing that, or like actually record it, mix and master and clean it, make it super clean or whatever, and then record video to that, because that shit would go dope, especially on TikTok or Instagram. And you were saying, oh, what if I paint my face and do all
paint
like
the face, do all the theatrics,
like fuck, do it all, man. Do all the fucking you gotta do the visual theatrics with, because if you were just looking like you right now and you did that or whatever on a video on Instagram, they'd be like, what the fuck? But you play it up with the visual. Now you got the visual and the audio and all the creativity. They're gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
And then you put stuff out like that every once in a while, but you just keep dropping all your other stuff and everything. That's really cool. And it goes back to the blueprint for bands that I came up with.
Yeah.
I was talking about on a few episodes back, where you have the lead singer just doing like a cappella of the song, and then like you have a guitarist is playing the guitar only and stuff like that. You have separate little video cuts of that kind of stuff. And I mean that's similar right there, because not only is that highly creative right there, because you're like I said, that's a beatbox a cappella of a fucking metal song, and you're doing it, even you're doing a metal beatbox, because you're getting like that deep screamo voice in with the beatbox of it. And so it's highly creative, dude. I don't travel the internet looking for stuff like that, but I've never came across anything like that on my own.
It's crazy. You have a very valid point. I've been sitting around waiting for it to be done for years. Years. I'm straight up, dude. I've been like, it was like one of those things where I was like, bro, I wonder within this generation, within the next generation and beyond, Who would attempt it? No one has.
And if they have, they haven't been able to market it well enough to get it popping.
No.
And so yeah, I mean, that's one of the things too is well, fuck, that's basically what got me started on even writing music when I was a teenager, is that like I whenever I would listen to things,
Mm-hmm.
because like whenever I was in high school, like Pac was a big influence on me.
Right.
But even still, like a good amount of Pac's lyrics didn't 100% hit with me, because he's talking about things that I couldn't connect with 100%.
Connect with, yeah.
And but the mood of it I could connect with, the tone of it,
Right.
the message in it I could connect with, but a lot of the things he was saying I couldn't connect with. And so it's just like one of those things. It's like, well, if it's not already out there, I have to create it in order to at least personally enjoy it, and but that's how everything creative is created, is based on people saying, what if you took like Limp Bizkit, what if you took hip hop and blended it with rock, and not only Limp Bizkit, but fucking Rage Against the Machine did that, and
Fishbone,
yeah,
Living Color, Ministry, damn, I mean,
all
pretty
kinds
much,
of people, yeah,
Nine Inch
yeah,
Nails, I mean,
to an
shit,
extent,
dude,
yeah.
I mean,
to an extent, yeah. Well, Nine Inch Nails, they blended like orchestra style shit in with their stuff too, and so
and it was dance like that, boom, 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 oh my god, I love that song. We're in this together now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
like that Tool, yeah, Nine Inch Nails and Tool, they were both very, very unique in their sound, because they blended multiple different things, just like, like I'm wearing Metallica right now, and a lot of their stuff is really good, but their Symphony and Metallica one was very unique as well too.
Yeah.
Their S&M one, that was very unique, because they took a lot of things and blended it all, and some of it sounded really, really good. And anytime that you take different things and you put them together, man, that's one of the things that I love about like sampled hip hop beats, where they take like 70s, 80s, even older, samples and shit,
and
like
some
that,
of the most obscure stuff that they've come up from hip hop, dude.
Yeah. And Kanye did a lot of it, but like, Heatmakers, who made Dipset beats and stuff like that, they did a lot of that as well too, where they would come up with just like out of the box things or whatever, and that was one thing that I tried playing around with when I was in the Army, was whenever I was trying to mess around with making beats, and it doesn't speak to me. But I was trying
Me
to
neither,
take,
but
I was trying to take like Nirvana and mix it to a beat and stuff like that. And so it just like, I was just thinking of like, what if you took this element of a rock song or something like that, and then blended it in with hip hop and do a sample with rock and hip hop, instead of doing it with like funk and stuff like that.
The thing is, what I started to realize with me is that I can do it raw. Like, and it came to me because when we were sitting there trying to create a hip hop beat on Logic Pro, and unlike my brother, shout out to my brother Sadiq, who is an amazing beat maker and producer. But I tried to, I'm thinking I could do that. No, nah. Chris Bradley, also shout out to Chris Bradley of Produce Like a Boss. Baby girl can make hip hop beats like, man, I swear. Okay. So I looked at myself and I was like, but when it comes to the type of sound that I could create from a hip hop perspective, or to have a sense of beat, danceability, it is more of Nine Inch Nails, Tool, those bands, and like a lot more alternative, psychedelic. But at the same time, because I grew up with funk, soul, and gospel music in Detroit, I'm able to add that swing also because of my love for blues.
Right. Well, it's Motown too,
Oh yeah, and it's Motown. Exactly. Right. So it's like you kind of can't help but be in step, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, just because you can't do it as good as your brother doesn't mean you can't team up with them. or you can't do it in
I've
your own
tried,
way.
God. We're just it
No,
will never no, it will
no.
never work. So
Hey,
that's
that
why I'm like,
happens.
it happens.
Yeah,
But so
yeah,
that's why I said to myself, like, just sitting there doing the beatbox, and like I was even sharing with you about
right.
doing a song, doing Shy's "If I Ever Fall in Love Again"
Mm.
as a rock song.
Yeah, that could
And
be
just
interesting.
that's a very interesting turn, but especially with the vocals because of how I sing. And I realized the one thing the way with my singing is a lot of rock singers have a huge influence on me. And two reasons. Number one, a lot of them sing in baritone. And number two, the grit.
Yeah.
Now I can hit some Luther, believe it or not. Shout out to my
Right.
homegirl Crystal Worthy from high school, who would always tell me, sing some Luther, sing some Luther. And I'm always like, but I'm not a big fan of Luther, right? And I
Right.
wasn't. I mean, I think he's one of the greatest singers of all time, rest his soul.
Right.
But actually, I would say, no, I'll take that back. I think he is technically, I think he is the best vocalist of all time.
Mm.
But I'm just not a fan of him.
Yeah, it happens.
Right. So, and it happens. So, but a lot of rock and metal singers, like I know a lot of people fucking hate him, and I get it. I understand. I was pissed at him too, and I've expressed my feelings about him. But
Phil?
Yes, you know how much, yes, big influence on me, right? But
Right.
James Het, but you know, Hetfield, Papa
Yeah.
Het, right?
Papa
Maynard.
Het.
Oh yeah, Papa Het, baby. Hell yeah. And you know, Maynard, Trent. You know what I'm saying? So, and Corey from Living Color, LaJohn from Seven Dust, you know, so many singers out there. Mark Lanigan, rest his soul, man, from Screaming Trees. Man. Oh, Corey Taylor, Scott Whelan, Chester. I mean, Rest Their Souls, man. I mean, I can go on, right?
Right. Yeah.
For real. So I thought about that and just thinking about coming from Motown and stuff. It's like I can really add that unique element to rock. Yeah. And I was waiting for someone to do it. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. I'm gonna share something with you guys because I've always wanted to express this, but now I really have the chance. And I'm blessed to have Harkos as one of my as a co-host and a partner in podcasting, to where I can actually share this with you guys, because I've said, the one person who can understand a black dude in metal is a white dude in hip hop, right? Exactly. Like for real. Exactly. And I really mean that. And I'll stand by that till the day I die. And hopefully it's not going to be soon, but y'all feel where I'm coming from. But what made me realize that is that it was fear, guys. It was that fear that I'll wait to see if somebody else does it, or man, ain't nobody gonna listen, or what if I do it, man? Well, why not try it? And just not doing it. And I'm like, dude, that what if? Yup, that what if deep, man. And trust me, I embrace my demons and comfort them when I need them. But at the same time, this one I needed to say, nigga, shut the fuck up and let me do it. Right?
Yeah.
I really did. And I didn't do that. But at the same time, I just did it. Right here on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So here's my thing. Get out there and do the shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I even talked about this I just said this on the last call I just had with Sean on the network. On our still because I still chime in on the network because I just went up a level. So I went ahead and just chimed in and wanted to, check out what they're doing. So I did say that. I said it's that fear. And having you as a co-host helps me get over that fear. And also working at Men's Warehouse is helping me get over that fear as well. Because believe it or not, yes, y'all, I have that fear, especially being a black male in rock. And rock and metal and even jazz. Much love to all three of those. But what I'm saying is that it's just because of that fear, I'm not putting out that type of content that's in my head, that's swimming in my head, that's been swimming in my head for so goddamn long, y'all. And I haven't done it. And it's like, dude, I need to do it. No matter my age, no matter what, I need to do it. Why? Because it needs to be done. Who can do it better? Right.
Right.
And that's the thing. And I have to tell myself that, like, now, and I'm saying this right here, I gotta believe that I can do. No one can do it better than me.
Yeah,
Straight
you
up.
have to, because no one is built exactly like you,
Yep.
with your interests, with your history, with everything, with your vocal ability. Nobody is built like that. Just you. What, there might be some similar people, but
Right.
nobody's went through your unique life situation other than you. And sorry, y'all, I had to hit the mute button. But but I heard I think it was Joe Rogan
Mm-hmm.
talking about comedians. They say that jokes come to them. They don't create them. Like the real good comedians, he said they come from somewhere and then they come to them.
Cat Williams said it comes from a place. Cat Williams
Mhm.
and Robin Williams both, like, rest Robin's soul, both said that it came from a place of darkness.
Right. It comes from a place of darkness, but some people, it comes from different places, but
Right.
it comes from somewhere else.
Mhm.
It's somewhere else. It's not just, like, sometimes you'll be sitting there and you'll be front of mind thinking, okay, how can I rewrite this bar to make it sound a little bit better, stuff like that, right?
Right.
But the general idea and that feeling, like, whenever you first get that spark of creativity, no matter what genre of music you have, but when it first it hits you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
It just comes
Hell
right
yeah.
in, and you're like, oh yeah,
Shit.
right, like that,
Yeah.
and you might not even have lyrics to it, but you have a feeling, you have a mood, a tone, right?
Mhm. And that visual and that visualization of it.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, you can, like, see something in your mind's eye, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you're sitting there, you're like, oh, okay, hold on, and you start going with it, and sometimes you'll be in dead silence, sometimes you won't even be around music, or sometimes you'll be, like, for instance, you'll be, like, listening to a beat, or you'll be riffing on a guitar or something like that. Something will come to you. It comes from somewhere else, and people that are musically creative, it comes to them like that if they tune themselves right. And listening to what you were saying about, you've had that fear of trying to do it because of being a black man in metal and stuff like that. I see that same fear with a couple of artists that I know. It's probably more artists than that I don't know, but there's one specific artist that I know who he is, you want to talk about it, he's a black man in hip hop, but he has the fear, I think, is my hypothesis. He has a fear of putting out conscious hip hop because he keeps resting on putting out more popular sounding hip hop music.
Right.
And so that's a trap that I think a lot of people in hip hop fall into, is that they want to get the popularity that the drug dealers flashing guns with hose popping their asses on their chest get. You know what I'm saying? They want to get that. So they're like, okay, I need to create some shit like that. And I like that kind of music. I can create that. I can vibe with it, and they can create it and it sounds dope. But at the same time, they got that inside of them. And this one artist I know specifically, me and him can talk about conscious shit, world issues. We can talk about, like, philosophy, all kinds of, like, deep conscious shit,
right,
for forever. And he'll post up shit about it on his fucking Facebook and stuff like that here and there and everything like that, but he won't put it in his fucking music, except for the one track he did with me, right? Ooh. And I keep telling him, I'm like, you got to put that shit. I was like, keep doing it. And he actually posted a video where he was just, like, freestyling, and his freestyle came out. It was some raw shit. I can't remember exactly the bar, but he said something about, like, my mama passed, and every time I think, it still hurts my soul, something like that, right? And it was something
that
similar,
one touches
right?
me, dude.
You
Damn.
know what I'm saying? Like he was talking about how, like, since his mom passed, stuff like that, every time he thinks of her, it still hits him and shit, right? And I fucking commented in there, I was like, put that to a fucking beat. Stop playing around.
Yeah.
Like, stop playing around trying to sound like the next Drake or Migos, motherfucker.
Right.
Get your shit, because he's intelligent. He knows all kinds of shit. Like, go, you know, and like what's really crazy is he will put out either text content or some other kind of content about like, you know, metaphysical stuff, spiritual stuff, trying to, break the cycles and stuff like that plague the Black community and stuff like that. He'll be talking about this stuff, but
Right.
won't put a fucking bar in a lyric on it. And I'm just
Mm,
like, and I think what it is the fear, because when he creates his wavy sound, when he puts out a wavy track, you know, now he's got tens of thousands of fucking streams. He's sitting there gaining traction with a wavy track, you
right.
know, and I'm like, I told him one time, I'm like, look, dude, bare minimum, pull the Kendrick tactic, make a wavy sounding track with raw
Raw
lyrics.
lyrics.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like his track, ADHD. He's talking
Mm,
about the negative effects of drug abuse and the negative effects of what the crack era did to, to create the next generation of people
I
who have
totally
a
buy that because
right
I
who
know
have a yeah, they have a chemical imbalance from their
mm-hmm.
parents doing drugs. And so then now they have a chemical imbalance. And then now they are more susceptible to using drugs in excess in order to cope with just their chemical imbalance, all kinds of shit like that. That's what he's talking about in that. And then his other song, Drank, Pour Up, Drank,
Mm-hmm.
Headshot, Drank. People think that's a party track. No, he's talking
Oh, it's
about
talking about
he's
drink.
talking
Yeah.
about the negatives of drinking, like
Yeah.
everything like that. And so I told him, I'm like, look, do that. Use Kendrick's model. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? J. Cole's even done some of it,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know?
And Cole drops bars when he goes
Right.
off like that.
Yeah,
He's even
exactly.
going off on rappers who come at him
Mm-hmm.
saying shit like he just did. I don't know, was it Blueface, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Where he just came, he just dropped a bar on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they will do that because they are conscious artists and they figured out how to make conscious stuff not sound preachy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the, because that's one of the things that I hear or I see people do is that they don't want to make conscious stuff because they don't want to seem preachy. It's like you don't have to, dude. You don't
Yeah,
have to
Drake
sit here.
said that. Drake said that, but it's like, dude, we can look at Cole and Kendrick and how much the world respects them in hip hop.
Well, even Pharoah Monch,
Yeah.
whenever he had that song, When the Gun Draws,
Mm-hmm.
or Simon Says, like those were his like big popular songs and stuff like that.
True.
And he's talking about some real shit in it.
Yeah.
you know like there's been a lot of things, so I know what you're saying about that fear, and
Mm-hmm.
that fear plagues people all the time.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you can't let that happen, just like I've said on here before. I listen to a lot of comedians and stuff like that, and I follow what they do from like a creative and a marketing standpoint, as well as just
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the entertainment when I find it fucking hilarious.
Right.
But some of the best comedians will say this as well too. They say that if you shy away from what you want to do, you will never be what you want to be.
Yeah.
And so you have some people like Tony Hinchcliffe who goes off the chain. He'll say whatever the fuck because he feels that if he doesn't take those risks, that
Yeah.
he can't fully let it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Rogan's like that too. Andrew Schultz, like a lot of the big people. Tim Dillon is insanely like that. He says the most absurd shit, right?
Right.
Because taking that risk is worth it creatively. And Bill Burr, you know what I'm saying? When they say some of the most outrageous shit off the cuff, just by letting it out and testing it, it actually helps them build as a creative artist as well
Yeah.
too, because then they're like, hold on, I can build on that and I can make it even better. I can make
Mm-hmm.
it higher level to where it is that line that you hear that comedians say and that they're known for that line. Like George Carlin and stuff like that. One of the biggest ones is where he was like, it's a big club and you ain't in it. The owners
Yeah.
the owners own everything, and they own all that kind of stuff. Like
Right.
he took a chance spitballing that stuff, because so comedians, for those of y'all who don't know, the way comedians they build their set is they go do a bunch of small sets, 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes or whatever, right? And they just
Hmm.
kind of spitball things. So whenever they have that creativity hit that hits them, they write it down or something like that, or however they process. Some people write, some people don't write.
Right.
But they go out and then they work it in front of crowds, and they test it out on the crowd. They say some stuff or whatever, and if the crowd doesn't really hit with it, they're like, okay. And if the crowd hits with it a little bit, they're like, okay, there's something there. And then they build, and then that's how they build their craft. And I
Right.
think, that's what musical artists need to do in a sense as well too.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've seen where people will put out samples of something that they work with, or like, for instance, producers who make beats, they'll go live and they'll cook up a beat going live,
Yeah.
and sometimes you'll see rock artists do that as well too. They'll just be riffing on a guitar or whatever
Hmm.
going live, stuff like that. If you do things like that, if you're a lyrical person, you start freestyle singing or rapping or whatever your art is. If you put that out there, either live or do little snippets or something like that, and put that out there to the world, you'll get that feedback, and it might actually help, because I
Hmm.
remember there's been multiple times where I've seen artists, like, they'll post like a bar or two, right?
Hmm.
And then, like, I'll hop in underneath it and put a couple bars that follow up after it. And like
Right.
I've actually been in those kind of threads where it's just like we're building like a whole fucking track, couple bars at a time, like
Hmm.
fucking 10 of us randomly out of nowhere and stuff. And
Right.
but that is that creativity you got to get going, but you got to get rid of that fear demon first. Like what you were saying, the fear for you to, not only get over the biggest fear, which is something I have in common, which what you have is black man in metal, I have white dude in hip hop.
Right.
That's a big fear to get over, not only the stereotype that we hold within ourselves, but the
Hmm.
stereotype that we have put that we feel that society puts upon us as well too,
Hmm.
right? When they see us doing our thing, they think wannabe, they think, oh, he's not doing what he's supposed to do or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We think all those things, like, what are you doing in this space,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And black women go through it more. In fact, I have a book that talks about it, and actually, I'm gonna just grab it right quick. But I have a book. I mean, and it's actually, I think I say all women go through it, but
Your
definitely.
camera just turned off.
Yeah, I know. Hold on.
Okay. But yeah, while you get that book, yeah, a lot of people go through it. It's the fear demon,
Yeah.
and no matter what we do, if we're pushing limits or not,
Mhm.
I personally recommend to push some limits, because that's how you grow as an individual, not just
Absolutely.
creatively, but just as an individual. But, like, if you don't push any limits, then you won't get anywhere. You got that book?
Yep. Right here.
What's it called?
It's called "What Are You Doing Here?" A Black Woman's Life, a Black Woman's Life and Liberation in Heavy Metal. It's by Lena Dawes, and it's narrated by Skin from Skunkanasi.
Yeah,
So
see,
this is a really good
yeah, see,
book.
but see, a black woman in metal,
Hmm.
like, that's extremely rare. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And so, like, women in metal is just kind of rare, but a black woman is extremely rare on top of that and stuff.
Yep.
And
And there's a
so,
growing number. And there's, when we look at
yeah,
like talk about shout out to Stormy and your wifey.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so you think about that, like, that even for you, like you're saying, like even
Mhm.
like you think about a white female in hip hop, like how hard it was for Iggy, even though, like, I understand she did what she did, but at the
Right.
same time, that breakthrough, it is tough. And that just shows just how fear and at the same time,
Mhm.
racism brings that fear into all of us, right? Like
Yeah, well, and then if you're a female in it, you
yeah,
got sexual stuff as well too,
yeah, you gotta
because
deal
a
with
lot
sexism.
one
Yeah.
thing I've seen a lot of females do is that they will either go hypersexual or tomboy
Yeah.
in hip hop space, right?
Hmm.
They'll either, like, barely be wearing anything, like, Cardi B, Meg The Stallion, all them fuckers, or they will, popping their ass, all that kind of shit, or they will being hoodies with beanies, shit like that, and just like spitting
Rhapsody.
bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's this one female artist in the UK. Her name is Pharma. It's actually Pharma, like capital
Heard
A
of
at
her.
the end, and she is raw with it.
Yeah.
And she beautiful woman, but like she's always like wearing hoodies or whatever. Like she's not like flashing her ass or nothing like
Yeah.
that. Like
Snow the
she's got
products the same way.
exactly,
She
yeah,
do that.
yeah. They got beautiful faces or whatever, but they keep it modest with their clothing. It's not about sexualization, it's about the art and the craft.
Yeah.
But that's another obstacle that they have to go over as well too. They got to go over, they got to get over that fear. And I think what the fear demon is not necessarily of taking the risk, but being accepted for taking the risk. That's what we fear the most, because we fear that if we take this risk and then people don't like it. So now we fail and people have a negative opinion of us for taking that risk. Now that hits all of the reward centers that we have within our human body in a negative way.
Right.
So like with you, Black Man in Metal, you come out with your Disturbed beatbox remix and you put it out and you're like, and because you might get a bunch of, people Highland Hitler fucking yelling at you, but then you also might get a lot of people who love it, from all walks of life. You might get some fucking Asian dude who's grown up in Africa who loves it. You know what I'm saying? You might get like the weirdest shit. But
or Jamaica, actually, because it is actually some Asians that's in Jamaica.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
you're starting to get some you are getting Asians in Africa too. So yeah, where'd you say that?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you could get you could get like the stereotypical white dude into metal who likes it. Or you can get like the most I didn't know you liked metal type of person who likes it,
Exactly.
But that's the thing. You just got to just put it out there. And that's the beauty of the internet, though, honestly, is that you can put this out there and you don't actually have to have people literally in your space, in your face, where you can like feel them looking at you.
Yeah.
Like, because like if you did that in front of a stage of 100 people or even 1,000 people, right? Or let's just say you went crazy and you did it in front of 50,000 people.
Which that would be so fucking killer.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, you did it in front of all those people,
yeah,
and you heard crickets, you would be like your stomach would fall out of your ass. Yeah, exactly. Your stomach would fall out of your ass.
Yeah, dude,
but then if you did it and people were like, yeah, like a roaring scream,
oh my god,
you would like be coming like so hard internally. You just be so much ecstasy, right, from it.
Absolutely.
And that is a positive and a negative, doing things in the physical. However, the digital aspect, yeah, it takes out that reward and that negativity, but it also can be as a positive as well too, because then you can hide behind the digital aspect
and you can be super creative.
Yeah, you can be more creative, more experimental, because you're hiding behind the screen. You're just doing it for yourself. You're looking into a camera lens, and with a microphone or a phone camera or a camera, whatever. You're looking into a lens and doing it, and then you just click buttons and fucking send it out into the world, and then check up on it and see what it looks like, and proper marketing tactics, yada yada.
Yeah.
But like, you're just doing that, and so yeah, you don't get the same feeling of positive, but you also don't get the same feeling of negative. And that feeling of negative is what will create that fear demon to be so strong that you don't fucking do it.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that, there's many, many different pros and a bunch of cons about the internet and technology. But if you try to think about things as positive as possible, you putting that out there, like I told you, at the beginning and even before we shot this, I'm like, yeah, what you should do, you should go super theatrical visually, and you should put that out there. Either do it raw and uncut or do it mixed and mastered. Either way, put that out there. And like I said, I think it would go dope on fucking TikTok and Instagram, maybe even YouTube Shorts, right? And, depends on how you title it and all kinds of stuff. But I think it will go good because it's highly, highly creative,
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And regardless of what people say, negative, fuck the negative shit, because half of them are fucking bots anyway, right?
Yeah.
But either way, kill people with kindness. So if somebody comes and says some stuff completely hateful, hyper racist, super negative, all that stuff, talks about fucking ropes and trees or whatever the fuck they want to talk about, right? Right? You just say, thanks for listening. I appreciate you checking it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. No doubt.
And then if they keep coming back, just either ignore or say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just try to stay positive, right?
Yep.
Because I get how it could start burning that fire inside of you. People start talking about ropes and trees with you and shit.
Yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah. Hell
but
yeah.
you just got to ignore it, because half the time it's just some person who's miserable in their life, working in a 9-to-5 little cubicle, hating themselves, 100 pounds overweight, with a wife who doesn't fuck them, who hates them, and kids that don't respect them. And so they're like, you know what? I got to get this out because I'm a fucking failure in my life. So let me project outwards instead of inwards, because they're already projecting inwards. They're just eating themselves to death, drinking fucking sodas all day, choking themselves while they masturbate to fucking hate porn or whatever, stuff like that. So you can't,
oh my God,
you can't,
whoa.
Yeah, you just can't, you can't indulge those people, you good? You can't indulge those people. You just can't. Because that's the reality of most of them.
The hate porn, though.
Yeah.
God damn.
They're choking themselves while they're jacking off the hate porn. Yeah, exactly. You good?
Damn, man.
All right.
That's a bar in a goddamn comedy skit, nigga. Goddamn.
Don't pull your stomach muscle again.
I'm not, man. That's why I'm relaxing, dog. Oh man,
for those
your
y'all
ass
don't know, a few
pull
episodes
groin
ago,
injuries and shit. Yeah, your ass have made me pull groin, damn their stomach and all kinds of shit, man. No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, for those y'all don't know, a few episodes ago, I said something that got him laughing so hard that he actually pulled a muscle in his abs, and he was like out of commission for like 5 minutes. Yeah,
I cramped up super
hardcore,
bad,
and he was like out of commission. He's like, oh, he had to like stand up and stretch it out. It was crazy, but
it was madness, guys.
But for real, like that's the kind of life,
Yeah.
I may have went to extreme, but somewhere in that range.
They did.
So, somewhere in that range, some of them apply, but that range, of people that say fucked up shit like that online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter, what ethnicity they are, nothing like that. There's people who are so upset with their own life, and instead of internally trying to figure it out, they externally project that hatred and put that hatred on to other people. And that's one of the bad things about the internet. If you indulge in that and you try to fight against that, it's a losing battle, because they're hiding on the other side of a screen too, and they can take that chance creatively in a negative way and come up with the craziest fucking shit.
And they can ruin your chances of brand deals and all kinds of shit.
There's that as well too, but also they're psychic vampires. They drain your energy. They can do it electronically, because because I mean, we've all been around those people that are just so negative that like you feel like you're physically being drained when they're close to you, because they're always like blah 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 negative stuff, right? Maybe not to you, but around you. Oh, so negative, like you feel dirty, you know what I'm saying? But when you're around like super happy people who are like, super like nice and all that stuff, you feel really full, so some people fill you and some people drain you, and they can do that electronically as well too when they're saying stuff like that. So when you try to combat them, which is something I had to stop doing, right? When people say something that I don't agree with or what have you, and you try to combat them, say something once if you want to, okay, fine, but just don't keep going though. And if somebody says something really outlandish, just say something positive, I mean, like if you're religious, say something about,
praise the Lord. Yeah.
God
bless you. Yeah.
God bless you, or whatever, I'm saying, whatever you want to say something in a positive light, or even like I just said, thank them for taking the time to watch, because whether they want to admit it or not, they just indulged in your entertainment at least once. And then commented on it because it resonated with them in some way, shape, or form so much that they wanted to comment.
They had to say something. Yep.
Right. So not only did they watch it, but they commented. So then that also means, unless they block you, they're going to start seeing more of your content, because the algorithm is going to keep feeding you to them, because they not only watched, but they engaged. so
Facts.
so you can use it in a positive way and actually get that person to keep enjoying your content, and they
Mm-hmm.
keep posting all the negative shit they want to or whatever. Just keep it positive, you know.
Yep.
But that's why I think that everybody should do. But especially what you were saying with that, man, that's a dope idea. Just doing your unique eclectic remixes
Mm-hmm.
of different things, whether it's, you know, your metal beatbox of a metal song or a metal take on a fucking R&B song, whatever.
Yep.
I think it would go good, man, and it would help you just like spur your creativity to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm. I've even been practicing one where I'm doing like 9 Inch Nails closer, and I do it, I play it on my drums, but I do it in a hip hop fashion.
Mm.
Like, and
Yeah.
it sounds really, and I'm actually going to record it. So that's why I went ahead and switched to getting myself an artist page,
Mhm.
because I've sold on Instagram,
Mhm.
so I can actually put it on my website. So I can actually put my website on the links and stuff,
Mhm.
because I want to be able to showcase that very skill. And it's like, the way I want to be able to showcase it is by being theatrical, right? That's my ticket. And when I feel like I'm not theatrical as a performer, I'm not getting the same response that I know I could get if I
Right.
am.
Yeah.
When I'm just
It,
being plain, like you said, when I'm in podcast mode, or just in
mhm.
business mode, or at work in Men's Warehouse mode, yeah, I'm not. I can promote I can promote, right?
Mhm.
But if I want to be the artist that I know deep in my head that I am, and that I've shown and displayed 23 years, for 23 years,
Mhm.
then yes, why not do it now as a solo artist?
Yeah, and then
Because it's
you
still
have
there.
but then you have the internet and social media and all that stuff that is growing,
Yep.
and you have an easier availability to grow the reach of your creative art. Whereas,
Exactly.
like we talked about a couple episodes ago, you play in that smoky bar with 20 people in there who are just the regulars who come in every night and just get plastered because they hate their lives. Probably some of the same people that, you know, choke themselves while masturbating to hate porn. But then they go, after they get done with that, after they come, they go and just drink themselves into a coma at the bar. Well, you're playing your music in front of them and they don't give a fuck.
Yep.
They're just like, okay, well, yeah, yeah, you know.
What the
And
hell is this? Play Alice in Chains and Freebird.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, stuff like that. And so instead of doing that, you can put it out on the internet, and then it will go to the places where those people like that kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, and that's one of the things about the internet that a lot of people don't see. And they they use negativity to mask their own faults. So one thing I see a lot of artists do is they'll say that, you know, the algorithm is this, or it's pay to play, or whatever, you know, but
Mhm.
it's because they don't understand how it works. The way that the algorithms work in general on all the platforms is interest based. If
Right.
you show interest in something, you will start seeing more of that
More of
kind of
that kind
thing.
of thing.
And the technology is getting better and better all the time for those companies' algorithms to get better at recognizing what content is
Yeah.
and go from there. Like I I I learned recently that Twitter, for instance, will actually devalue your posts if you use a lot of hashtags,
Mm-hmm.
because the hashtag game is basically obsolete now, because they have more advanced AI that not only reads your text that you put on your posts, but also analyzes all of the words and everything like that in the content, and then categorizes that into specific categories and subcategories in order to place that in front of people who like that other kind of thing. And
Right.
so it puts a certain value on your content, and then it puts it around in those values. So, you know, using hashtag strategies and stuff like that doesn't really work anymore. And once I learned that, I stopped putting hashtags on all of our stuff,
Right.
because people don't really, for one, people don't really search hashtags when they go on social media. They just scroll their feed, right? It's very
Facts.
rare It's very rare to find somebody who's like opens up Instagram and then goes to the search and then searches in, you know, a certain hashtag or whatever that they want to look at. No, because they scroll through their feed, and when they like things, now it starts showing them more things like that. So they're always seeing something they kind of like or really like. You know, the search function on those things is not there. Just like on the episode where I talked about SEO is utterly useless for artists because people don't search. It's all recommendation algorithmic engines. That's how everything runs. It
Right.
all is a recommendation engine based on your interests. It's interest based. And so, you know, these softwares and stuff like that, AI, if you want to call it that, these softwares have been programmed, and they keep learning more and more on how to analyze content and analyze what people like and why they like certain things in order to keep feeding them what they want.
Right.
And so that's what you need to do is, you know, in your posts, instead of making it advertisement style copy headlines, make it conversational, make it say something, make it start telling a story, you
Right.
know, and just, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, 5 paragraphs. You can do it in a sentence or two.
Yep.
Start the story. And that's the headline or the description for your video. And then you put your video out there. So then people see that and then they click on it, you know, and stuff like that. And then it keeps coming to them. That's how this shit works now. So when people are like, oh, social media is dead, oh, Facebook is garbage, blah, 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 and everything. No, it's just how you use it. And it's not an instant hit. All right. It's not a hit in that vapor. You gotta stay at it long term, and it grows from there. Just like what we're doing here, you know.
Yep.
You know, we're not hitting fucking millions of listeners every episode, but we keep coming out every week, keep posting up new stuff, you know. And then as artists, we keep doing different things. We keep trying to help all these artists and everything like that.
Right.
And you know,
shout out on your reviews, man. Great job.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, and I want to start highlighting some producers a little bit more too with those reviews, because producers is one aspect of hip hop that have a very hard time marketing.
Yeah.
You know, and because the actual lyrical artist can, you know, they have a hard time marketing because of oversaturation. But if they stand out, they're unique and they are consistent, then they can beat out 80% of the fly-by-nighters.
Right.
But they have that face, they have the charisma, they have the energy, they have the visual aspect to their art as well as the lyrical aspect to their art. But producers that just make beats only, they're basically in the sales position. They're trying to, you know, yeah, you're gonna have some people who just like listening to lo-fi beats while they're studying or while they're chilling or whatever, right? And they're not lyrically creative. But the majority of people who go and listen to beats are shopping for their next beat to make their next song, right? And so you got to get that in front of people. And so one of the producers that I recently did a music review for, Rayco Beats, I told him, I said, you know what I don't see any producers out here doing is creating visually unique and creative content to put their video behind or put their music behind. And so he went out there and he used an AI video generator and created some very unique AI art and put his fucking beat behind it. And he instantly, like he wasn't getting very much traction at all on his social media, but he instantly quadrupled his fucking reach. Instantly, by just doing something fucking different, you know. And as soon as he saw that, because like his posts were only getting like a couple views and like 1 or 2 likes or whatever. His first video he posted got like 100 views and like 5 or 6 likes.
Damn.
Instant quadrupling, right? Yeah, it's not millions of views, but it's that scale. It instantly did that. And so he did it again. And now he's in the hundreds and the tens of likes, right?
Yeah.
On every reel he's posting, because he's posting them as reels. And I'm like, all right, do that on every platform. Same fucking thing. Post the exact same thing. Just keep it rocking, right? Yeah. And then he even has created full-length videos. He did this on his own. He created full-length videos for the full track.
Right.
full length of AI and stuff. So now it's like 3 minutes. So it's long form content, posting it up on his YouTube. So now you're getting the minutes of watch time and everything like that. And it's creative and stuff like that as well, too. That kind of thing right there, producers aren't doing, you know, and that was just something that just kind of hit me. And I was like, when I was looking at his stuff, I was like, why don't you just do something like, do something hyper creative? And then he did that. I was like, yes, that. And I even was just talking to, can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the first, Tysus. No, Tysus. Yeah, the first one I did, I was just talking to Tysus the other day, because I touch base with these people after I do these. I keep a conversation going if they want to keep it with me, obviously.
Right.
I keep a conversation going with these guys because I genuinely want to help. It's not just me, oh, let me review your shit. Oh, I'm putting it out there. Okay, me, and me doing it all for selfish reasons. I genuinely want to help people. That's what we do. And so I was talking to him the other day or whatever, and he was talking about like these different tracks and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, what do you have for visual? And he's like, oh, well, I was thinking about maybe this or whatever. And I was like, did you watch the episode 3 of the review? And he's like, no, not yet. I was like, you need to watch it. I was like, check out that producer, Reiko Beats. For one, you might like his beats. And if so, let him know that I referred to you and blah, blah, blah. You can get some dope beats. Cause he was talking about how he's having a hard time finding beats because he's like using the free for profit ones and stuff like that. And I'm like, just spend $25 on a lease, dude, and fucking have unlimited lease for it, whatever. And I was like, go talk to him because he's trying to get artists to get on his shit, and he hasn't been able to get any artists to hop on his beats yet. Like, go talk to him, see what you can work out. Maybe develop like a partnership or whatever. And I was like, but on top of that, go check out, ask him what he's using for his AI art generator for the video. Maybe start doing a little bit of that as well too for your shit, and stuff like that. So like, the creativity aspect, that is where you got to take those chances and start with something. Something's better than nothing,
Facts.
And I don't know how I got on that, but
no, just because of the fear. We're based on fear.
Yeah, the fear.
We're based on fear and just actually how to capitalize on it from a creative perspective.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Creativity is the currency right now.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and a lot of the standard models for marketing and sales and stuff like that, the standard stuff only works once you get to a certain level of reach and audience, right? Then you can start doing like the standard shit. But until then, you need to focus on, I was thinking about this on my walk this morning. You need to focus on awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the main thing that you need to focus on as an artist, is just awareness. And so that's why I tell everybody, put everything out for free, right?
Yeah, I think brand awareness is very underused and underutilized with artists. Like when you look at YouTube, the one thing about YouTube is being able to have brand awareness, right? You can do conversions, but when you have brand awareness and when you advertise for brand awareness on YouTube, that's where you begin to see the results and the numbers increase, because it's for that very reason. Artists, you want to expose your music, you want people to see it, right? So if you're just trying to do conversions, and I mean, I'm glad you brought this up. If you're trying to do conversions with the music, I think it's actually a bad idea.
You got to wait till you're certain.
You got to wait till you got to wait till you're certain level.
You got to convert strangers into fans first before you convert fans into dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what you're saying, brand awareness.
So go brand awareness. If you are an artist, straight up, you're starting out, don't try to go conversions. Don't try to convert any type of money. You need to go brand awareness. Yep. Because then that's where people will start to accumulate. That's where you start accumulating an audience. Here's why. Music is not a physical product unless it is attached to something, right? If it's not attached to a CD or vinyl or a commercial or a film or something, or device on your phone, like in Instagram or on Spotify or Facebook, because that's where people are going to access the music. That's why Spotify is out, right? So if you go out there and you put brand awareness, even for YouTube, when you go and use brand awareness, check out my music on Deezer. Like you're creating a cool piece of content that's going to grab people's attention to where they're going to go listen to your music on said platform. That's why brand awareness is so important. And if you advertise with the purpose of brand awareness, you're going to increase, you have a greater chance of increasing your numbers, of increasing your following, of increasing your fan base. Unlike if you want to go into getting music, if you want to go and get money, if you want to make money as an artist, one of the best things to do, and I've said this before, that's sync licensing, because then you don't have to worry about brand awareness just yet. All right. But if you want to make money while you're focusing on brand awareness, go into sync licensing. Learn how to do skills like marketing. Learn how to do podcasting. Learn how to do certain skills that's going to make you money, right? Find other work, right? And you don't have to go full time. You can do part-time work, right? Mm-hmm. And just build, and you shout out to Adrian Milano, who's done a lot of his work as a funding himself, right? So when you're doing it, this is where you can build brand awareness, right? Yeah. You're able to fund that, and it makes it a lot easier on you as an artist by going for brand awareness or advertising for brand awareness, putting your music out with ads through brand awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, while you were saying that, I just let you go, man, because you were on it 100%. But where one thing that touched on me, for one, podcast, when you said that, I was like, yes, because that is going to help build your brand. You know, you have a podcast highlighted around a specific interest that you have personally, right? And you're sitting around talking about shoes or whatever the fuck it is that you love so much, right? And you're also building awareness of you as a person. But you said something that built on that before that. You said that the brand, the music is not attached to something physical anymore unless it's actually on like a CD. But I would actually amend that it is attached to something physical. It's attached to you as an individual artist.
Right.
That is the physical. And so that physical is what people are grabbing now. Instead of the CD, instead of the t-shirt, they're grabbing that content.
Yeah.
They're giving you the attention instead of the money. And that's what you need to build on at first. And I actually had an artist that I was working with a few months back, before we started doing this podcast and stuff. Whenever I was still kind of like building all of my stuff on trying to help artists, I had an artist that I worked with. I was like, hey, I can help you out. And so I worked with him for 1 month, and they only saw a couple of their main focus was they wanted to grow their Spotify streams. Okay. But they didn't have any of the base built with people enjoying their content first. You know, they had a little bit of stuff here and there and stuff, but they didn't really have it. And so they didn't want to work with me anymore after the month, because like I was running the awareness campaigns, because that's what I was doing. You know, I was like, hey, we need to focus on awareness. So when we were putting money behind ads, I was doing awareness ads, not conversion ads. And so instead of trying to get people to click, I was just getting people to watch. And then from there, people were liking, people were subscribing, people were commenting. So, and that was all organic based off of them getting the reach. And so that's a lot cheaper as well too, guys. All right. Running an awareness ad campaign, you can get for fractions of a penny. I think I was getting it for like a view was costing like a fraction of a penny per view. Okay. Which is super cheap just to get an eyeball. Okay. You're getting eyeballs for fractions of pennies, and that's what you need. So when people were doing that though, they were subscribing because they liked the content. They were hitting like because they liked the content. They were commenting on the content.
Yeah.
And so then what that does is that increases the likelihood of them seeing your content again, going further down the customer journey, which is what they talk about in sales and marketing and stuff like that. They're going through the fan journey. We'll call it the fan journey. They're going down that journey from where they become aware of you, and then they get to know you, and then they get to like you, and then they get to trust you. And after they get the trust, that's when they start giving you money, right?
Yep.
But until then, you have a long way to go, okay? Because if you, you know, when you just meet somebody out in public, you don't automatically just start giving them your money because you like them and you feel like you can trust them. You don't do that. So they're
No.
not going to do that online either, you know? And so, but anyway, I ran a conversion campaign with
Mhm.
that person too to try to get to their new song, and it only got them like 10 or 15 new streams on their Spotify over the month. But it's because, for one, they didn't have a good Spotify growing, but they didn't have the prerequisite to that, which was a good, hyper engaged, enthusiastic audience. And
Right.
that's what you got to build first. And so what I always tell people is have everything set up, you know, have your website and have everything set up to where if people want to go and listen to your music on their favorite platform, they can do it very easily.
Yep.
You know, like in the last music review I just did, episode 4, that's where I really talked about how, you know, it having a master link, you know, from Toned In or from Smart URL or whatever it is, where people click one link, then they have all the options. They can pick, oh, do you like Spotify? Do you like Apple? Do you like YouTube? Where do you want to check it out? Right. And then you
Yep.
have your socials at the bottom as well, too, like what we have for our master link
Master
for the
link. Yeah.
podcast, right? You know, you have all the options there and people can go from there, but you're not really pushing that. You know, you just have it there, but what you're doing is you're pushing yourself onto people. You're letting them get aware of you, and you're giving them entertainment.
Mhm.
That's what people go on their phone for.
Yep.
Okay. If you're in the knowledge space, like what we kind of are, then people are coming to you to find knowledge and
Mhm.
information. But if you're creating music, you're in the entertainment space. Okay. And you can give knowledge through your music if you're a conscious artist in any form, fashion. But your main goal is entertainment. People have to enjoy it.
Yep.
And so you need to give that out for free. You have to. And I know that's hard to hear for a lot of people who are working bullshit jobs that they hate, which I can 100% relate to. I've done it multiple times.
Yep.
Jobs that I just, you just, ugh, you know,
Yeah.
you can't stand. And you're like, man, I just need to start making money with the shit that I do like so I can stop doing the shit I hate. Right.
Yeah.
I get it. But it's a process, you know? You can't become a doctor straight out of high school. You got to go through a process.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with building your money for making your music. You gotta go off that process. So like KP just said, you gotta build that brand awareness before you can even start converting. You know, you gotta convert them from a stranger to a fan before you can convert them from a fan into any kind of money, whether it's, you know, the fraction of a penny you get from streaming or whether it's actual sales of merchandise or whatever kind of
Yeah.
stuff that you want to offer. You gotta do that. And, you know, like KP said, that's something that we have both seen so many times from a lot of artists, you know, and from a lot of people in general.
Yeah.
You know, they think, oh, I see these people out here making a ton of money pitching their product to people. Yeah, but look at their following that they have before they start doing that. You know, you can't, you have to focus on awareness first.
Yep.
That's the name of the game.
That's if
And
you want to
and
put your music out there to the
Mhm.
fans. If you want to write to
Exactly.
brands, that means you need to put out volumes of music.
Mhm. Exactly.
Quality music.
Yep. Quality music and quantity content as well
Yep.
too. You know, yeah, quality content, but you gotta focus
Mm.
on quantity more than
Yep.
quality a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Don't sacrifice the quality a lot, but sometimes you gotta sacrifice a little bit of quality so you're not nitpicking yourself, you know,
Right.
and sitting in that thing where it's like, oh, it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect
Mhm.
yet. Like, motherfucker, it's never gonna be perfect.
Nope.
You know, like I told an artist one time, you know, he was talking about, you know, oh, he's got some stuff, but he's still trying to get it, man, because he wants it to sound perfect because he doesn't like some of his older stuff. I was like, dude, if you think something sounds perfect right now and you put it out, a year from now, you're gonna think it sounds like shit. Like that's just how it works with creative people. We're always building and adding and creating and getting better. That's how we operate.
And we're
So
our
you're
best and
never
worst critics.
Absolutely, man. Because there's shit that I put out years ago that I was like, all right, this is solid. I listened to it. I'm like, man, I would fix this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it goes. You're never going to have anything perfect. So put it out there, let it go.
Yep.
You know, don't hold on so tight to it. You know, yes, it's your creation, but don't wear it on your sleeve so much.
Yeah.
you know,
Put it
like
out
little
there and see what people like, man. People see if people
exactly,
like it.
absolutely. But yeah, so I don't even know how long we've been going, like an hour and a half or whatever.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah. Yep.
but but yeah, so all that information right there, 100%, y'all. Every bit of that, just like what KP has been talking about, what he's been saying about brand awareness, about just like being creative, like the shit that he just randomly came up with and stuff like that. That's hyper creative. Do something similar. Fuck, copy him if you want to, just tag him in it.
Yeah,
What I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
But like, do something creative. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, then do it. I mean, because like me and KP can 100% relate to wanting to do something that's completely different. As a teenager, I wanted to make hip hop music, but as a white dude living in a town that only had like literally, you can count them on a couple of hands amount of minority families in the whole town, right? Non-white families, right? It was very, very scary and difficult to break out of that mindset.
Oh yeah, I can totally imagine.
And he can relate to that as well
relate.
too,
and relate.
Yeah, exactly. Like him getting into metal as a black dude in Detroit, where his brother is into hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like it's like hip hop and jazz and Motown shit, and he's over here wanting to scream at shit, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you, little kid? Stuff like that.
And I mean, there's also with on the jazz and on the jazz side, I'm listening to more of the obscure fucking prog jazz, right? And the free jazz, like the Sun Ra's and the Chick Corea's, rest their souls. But yeah, I'm more into that. Yeah, just the more obscure kids. So yeah, it's
yeah, be different. It's fine. People like different as long as it's authentic.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that people are craving so much on the internet right now and in our society right now is authenticity. Okay. And you can look at it in all elements of society, like in hip hop, there's a lot of people that like Drake, and there's a lot of people like me that are like, that motherfucker's fake. He's just an actor, and he has everybody write his shit for him. It's well known. It's well known. He started out as an actor, Drake and Josh, right? Or Degrassi.
No, that was
Degrassi.
Yeah, Degrassi.
So I always get confused. But anyway, he was an actor, and he still is. That's why in his pictures, he's always pushing his lips out and shit, duck face and everything, and putting braids in his fucking hair and bows and shit. Weird, whatever. Anyway, he's a fucking actor. He's an entertainer. Okay. People want authenticity. That's what people want.
No, so don't lie, dude.
Right. So whenever people see that real raw shit, that's what they love. That's why people like Bill Burr, for instance, in comedy, right? Or Tony.
That's why people will always love Tupac. Yep. That's why like the make them feel rappers. The make them feel rappers are gonna always like your Jay-Z's, your Nas, your Biggies, those Tupacs. Those guys are gonna always they're gonna be legends. In fact, if you look at what's going on in hip hop today, a lot of the older rappers like your Rakims, your Ice-T's, your Big Daddy Kane's are starting to sell out. Nas is selling out tours compared to Lil Baby and Da Baby and all these other young rappers out there. And it's like, well, there's a feel. I mean, they're even young dude. In fact, I just was on just to piggy, kind of get to kind of wrap up more. If you got anything, of course, I'm not gonna but at the same time, there was this incident where I was at, well, it wasn't even an incident, but it was just the other day I was getting off work and I was standing at the bus stop and young brother was talking with me. And long story short, he turns to me and he looks at the way I was dressed for work. And I had on my black, camouflage dinner jacket and this really cool in my black shirt with my, just looking G'd up, man. And he automatically said, you look like you're in music, man. Like you fuck with that music. Automatically. And we started having a conversation and check, his name is Kirsch. That's Kursch. Got it. Now I can spell, motherfucker. I told you I'm a spelling bee champ, nigga. I told you, goddamn. I told you I didn't. Well, I didn't. I wasn't a champ, but I've been in 2 spelling bees. But I told you, damn it. I told you, Skip.
Exactly. So for those y'all who don't know, that was from a couple episodes ago when he couldn't spell Cava-Luis, and so I chopped the fuck out of it and made it to where it looked like he can't spell.
Oh my God, dude.
I read the fuck out of him.
Bastard. That's all right, because he couldn't say ferocity, so I got his ass. I didn't say anything, but I just wanted to get him anyway. But anyway, so I was listening to the young brother. We shared Instagrams and stuff like that. And he's a young lyrical MC, man. He's from Jersey and he's been living out here for a year, but young brother was dope. And it was cool because like, it was just being able to have that moment. And I wish I would have recorded that even I wish I would have documented that one too. Shout out Gary Vee for saying that, document that type of stuff, right? But the fact that he looked at me and realized that, yo, my man's into music, and just being able to have that conversation. And I also hit him up to the podcast and stuff. So he's following us as well. Shout out to Kirsch. So he's out there, man. And I'm, like I said, he's a lyrical young brother, man. And that made me think of you. And it made me think about what we do on this channel and on our podcast. It's like being able to just reach out to people. And it's like, even just on a random tip like that, where I'm just out there getting off work, standing at the bus stop, waiting for, don't even start with the sucking on the lollipop. Because I did have a couple suckers with me. I bought Starburst suckers with me. But anyway,
whatever.
I mean, it's just funny as hell because I did. I'm just saying. That's why I'm theatrical as fuck, right?
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
but it was just, the whole thing was like, I was able to just reach out to him from that perspective. And then here you are doing the reviews and just how we're able to utilize our platform to just not only just reach out to artists, but also give you a glimpse of and taste of what we do as well. Right. So, you know, so artists, if you want, seriously, and shout out to Corey from Brandman Network, man. Dude, I really think starting a podcast is one of the best things an artist can do. I mean, there are many things, there are so many cool things you can do. But if you're an artist, starting a podcast, I think is one of the best. And just speaking of Drake, you know, it's funny you say that, but then you look at where he's with going on the podcast with Lil Yachty. You know, yeah, that definitely had an influence on the album too, like he even said. But being able to share that space with somebody who can relate to you. Yeah. Like, and that's what they're able to do. Like Yachty and Drake are able, and that's us. And that's us. We're able to relate to each other and being able to share that.
Yeah, with a podcast, you're also showing different aspects of yourself as an individual as well too, which helps with that brand awareness because you're strengthening your brand. You're not just one thing. People don't want just one thing. They want multidimensional because they are multidimensional. They're tired of seeing all this artificial shit up here. They want to see something raw, real, and unique. Exactly. You know, and that's what they like. So I've been recommending this to hip hop artists for a while. You know, you start a podcast talking about whatever. Like I think we talked about a few episodes ago. I know an artist from New York. This motherfucker is fresh to death all the time. He's always up on the newest shoes, on the newest gear, everything like that. Like you can tell because I'm here in Indiana, right? You see him walking around, you're like, that motherfucker is from New York. He's not from here, right? Because this is the way he dresses. Right. And he's also like 6'3", so he stands the fuck
right.
up.
So it stands out. Oh yeah.
But he but no, I told him, I'm like, dude, man, like start a podcast or start some kind of like little vlog, right? It doesn't have to be a full-fledged podcast, but it's a vlog and talk about fashion. You know, talk about different things, you know, just go on there, be like, I got this fit on today because of this, and this, and this, you know, just talk about what you're wearing, talk about why you're wearing it, stuff like that. Just like get game right there like that, you know, if you want to talk about this or you want to talk about that, just do it, you know, talk about shit, be multidimensional. It's not just all about listen to my music, bye. Yep. It's not that, man. You need to go multidimensional. So whatever it is that you're interested in, you know, like me and KP, we like making music, but we also are interested in helping artists. So we started this podcast to help artists. You know, like I told you, I also at the beginning of the year, I started practicing when I preach and stuff like that. And I started doing like vlogs whenever I'm in my garden, you
Mhm.
know, and then also whenever I'm out on like my walks. I take walks every morning out in nature and just clear my head like we talked about.
Right.
And you know, once a week I was just you know, letting it out, you know, whatever I was thinking of. But you know, it all started kind of being music marketing related. And so then
Mhm.
that's why we just went ahead and just did this instead. And but no matter what it is, you know, if you're a WWE freak and you just love talking about it or whatever,
Well,
right?
right.
Right, exactly. Then you know, just get on a podcast with somebody else and start talking about that. If you like
Yep.
comics or you like Avengers or you like fashion, you know, you're female, you like hair and makeup, you like
Mhm.
talking about whatever. Even I don't recommend hyper divisive stuff, but even if you want to talk about politics or religion, whatever
Yeah.
it is, you make yourself multi-dimensional, you
Yep.
know, that's what you are, you know, that's one thing that has helped Joe Rogan get to where he is
Yep. And there's some things
because
that he said
Mhm,
that I really think about too, like what he said about how guys are like, we as people are always talking about, well, I wish I would have done this 20 years ago, 10 years
mhm.
ago. He says, no, you're doing it now. So shut the fuck up. Like, and
Exactly.
I was
Yeah,
like,
there's that. But
facts.
if you think about it, you know, he was a comedian doing comedy, and then he started
Mhm.
getting into acting a little bit and stuff like that because, you know, the path back then was you're stand-up comedian, you gain much, you know, gain audience and stuff like that, and then you get a
Right.
sitcom, and then you've made it, right? And then maybe you get in some movies after that, and that's how you make it. But you gotta go get on late night first and Letterman
Mhm.
first and all that shit. You know, there's all these
Yeah, there
different
was that
tiers.
pecking order. Yup.
Yeah, there's that pecking order and stuff like that. And he bypassed a lot of that. You know, like, yeah, he was on a few shows and stuff like that, you know, Fear Factor is where he got most of his name recognition, you know,
Yeah. That's
and
I
but
did. Yeah, that's where I totally remembered him from
yeah,
in
but once
UFC.
he started his podcast, at first
Mhm.
it was just him getting stoned and fucking around with his friends. But then he started bringing interesting people on that he wanted to talk to. Like his first guest ever was Graham Hancock.
Yep.
And Graham Hancock is a very interesting person, and it's not in anywhere the realm of comedy, right?
Yeah.
Or UFC or anything like that. And
Mhm.
then, you know, he's grown to the point now where he talks to all different kinds of people. And so he has the largest audience in the world
Yeah.
because he just like and anytime he talk like he doesn't even have to plug his own comedy anymore because anytime he just makes a post about I got a show or whatever, people just flock to it. They want if they're into comedy and they like him, they go and check out his comedy. It pops up
Yep.
on Netflix, they're watching it. Whatever
Dude,
it is,
he's
it
had Shirley Manson from Garbage and Hulk
Mhm.
Hogan and Mike Tyson on
Yep,
there.
exactly.
Eminem,
Yep,
Elon Musk.
yep. He's had a lot
I
of
mean,
people
he's
on
dude,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot of people on there, man, from all different walks of
Yep.
everything, you know,
Everything.
everything,
Everything.
everything. You know, he's had everybody, you know, and that's what he's interested in. He's
Mhm.
interested like he supposedly, all right, there's probably some marketing angles with some of the people he brings on, but supposedly he only talks to people he wants to talk to about whatever he wants to talk to them about. And that usually comes off. You can tell when you're listening to it.
Mhm.
You know, now sometimes people he has on, he's just kind of interested in or whatever, but a lot of times he's bringing up stuff that the person didn't even bring up. So like he already has a feel for them,
Mhm.
you know, but that has grown him to the point to where his his monetary art sells itself,
Mhm.
you know, like he doesn't have to go out and promote anything. You know, he bought a comedy club in Austin. It promotes itself. He talked about it a little bit, but it promotes itself.
And that's all
It,
he had to do was talk about it just a little bit. That was enough
mhm,
advertisement right
that
there to just say, oh shit, Joe
exactly.
Rogan's got to. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
that's it. That's it. That's all he has to do. And now he has so much influence that anything he talks about can move.
Yep.
But like, you know, that's why I tell people, you know, follow that formula. You know, obviously you may not get that big. That's fine. But follow that formula to grow, you know, because a lot of comedians got on this and they understand this. You know, they sit around, they talk to people they want to talk to about whatever, and they grow and then they plug their comedy shows or whatever, right?
Mhm.
They plug their new special and stuff. And then what you can also do too, once you have your podcast built, when you have something to promote, or just you want to promote your podcast or yourself in general, you can go on other people's podcasts, which is what me and KP are working on doing as well too. You go on other people's podcasts and you just talk with them about whatever, right? You don't go there
I gotta
for
send the link to Corey too.
yeah, you don't go in there 100% with promotion. You just go in there to talk about whatever, you know, and just go with it, you know, and that is how you're going to raise your profile. And then people are going to come to you, and then they will go from a stranger to a fan, and from fan to finance.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's a good plug, right?
Ooh, that's a bar.
Right,
That's
exactly.
a bar, dude.
And that is why Music Making Sense podcast is for artists by artists.
Yep.
Right. That tagline is something that kind of hit me one day too, because that's what we are. We are artists helping artists, trying to help artists. You just gotta listen. That's all you gotta do.
Yep. Because we've listened to some great people in this business, man.
Yeah, I've listened to people from all over businesses. Yeah. And sometimes that's all you gotta do is you gotta listen. You don't have to blindly listen, but listen, think, and then do some kind of action. Do some kind of testing. Figure it out. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. And you guys can marinate on all that information. And we will see you next time right here on Music Making Sense Podcast. As always, make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe to everything Music Making Sense Podcast. And if you want to holler at us for a free consultation on your marketing services, hit us up in the comments below, whether you want to talk to both of us or one of us individually. It won't hurt our feelings either way. Just let us know how we can help you, and we will try to help you the best we can. If you want a music marketing review of your music, no matter what genre of artist that you are, drop it down below as well too. Hit us up in the comments or on musicmakingsensepod.com. You can go shoot us an email, drop us a message on the website, whatever. Contact us one way, shape, or form. Let us know, and we will be glad to help you out with a free music marketing review, free consultation for your marketing services, and then we can start getting to work and helping you grow your fan base and turn those strangers into fans.
Exactly. Right? And just to add, I'm going to start doing Q&A on Wednesdays on our IG live, so you guys can also check me on there. And I'm going to pick a date on when I'm going to start going live on YouTube. So I'm going to pick a date so you guys can also do Q&As, and I'll chat and do some really cool stuff on there too. So be on the lookout for that as well, guys. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say too. KP is starting to do that. So you want to have just a live Q&A and sit down and chop it up with him or whatever over on Instagram, Music Making Sense Pod. All links, musicmakingsense.podcast.com. And yeah, so we're gonna get the fuck up out of here. We'll see y'all next time. Keep tuning in, keep sharing, and keep working on growing your awareness. That's key. See y'all later.
Holla.